here we go again. Next part of this segment. We're going to be shaping a little bit and doing a little bit of tooling. What we did previously was this piece. We have Sam, the other one, and we've actually caught it up. What we also did during this whole process was gave everything about an hour or more to soak a little bit. What was funny before was it was actually a little too wet. So some of the tools we're going to be using this time around, we've got these wooden balls, which are going to come in handy. Please no funky ball comments. We got an awl, got a couple of awls actually. We don't need this piece, but we actually don't need this part of the tool. We're going to be using this part of the tool. In fact, I think actually I've got a better one than that. Just got to go right here. There it is. Going to be using this guy. We're of course using our swivel knife again. We have our spoon and we have our beveler. So what we've been doing is we have taken our rotary tool again and we have done our edges, or done our little roping edge. We're now going to take our spoon tool here and we're going to just work highlighting and working down our stitch line a little bit. That'll allow us to recess our stitching. It'll also give it a bit of a detail, which is kind of neat. A little more of a dimension, a little more texture for our piece. So we're stitching it in. Okay. And the next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to take our knife and move over to this piece. We're going to take our swivel knife here and we're going to very quickly define that roping that we've done with our swivel, with our rotary tool, rotary detailer. It's exactly the same process we did on the bigger piece. You can see I'm working my way all the way around. I'm holding the knife at a bit of an angle. I want to angle the blade in the direction of travel. In other words, allowing my knife blade to cut. I don't want it to be too straight up and down. I want to have it so it'll actually cut. I also want to go a little bit underneath, in this case, in this application, underneath the bit, the roping detail. There we go, almost there. Last bit, I want to try not to overcut. Undercut if I can help it. There we go. Swivel knife done. So this piece I've worked on a little further along. So I'm going to now, I want to define these lines. I'm not going to cut those. I'm going to take my tool here again. I'm going to use my ruler just to keep my edge true. And I'm just going to work that down just a little bit without cutting it. In this case I want to give it sort of that siding look that you find on your house kind of thing. I want to make it actually look like one piece is actually slightly going under or diving under the next one. So I'm going to do that. Put my knife away. I'm going to grab my little beveler tool again here, and again I could use the hammer, but I'm choosing not to. I'm going to go back in and I'm going to bevel these down. Again, you want to be careful to stay on your line. You want to keep it true. The other nice thing about this is rather than using my hammer, if I use my hammer I'd end up with a whole bunch of little overlapping hammer marks. This makes it just a bit smoother. And again, if my leather's not too wet, it'll allow me to do this. So And then I'll go back and I'm going to do the same thing I did again. I'm going to, on the other piece, I'm going to try to highlight out that roping that I've done all the way around. Again, you just want to give it some, you want to give the piece some texture, some detail. Right? You want to make your piece a little interesting, I guess. I always want pieces to look, you know, tell a story, as it were. Again, I'm going all the way around. You see, I'm still working this in the flat. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to keep going back over the areas that I've already worked. Okay. So I am going to lose a little bit of the detail of the roping around the edge on this. For my particular application and what I'm doing here, what I try to do here, because I like my pieces to look a little bit weathered, that doesn't bother me all that much. Okay. So this piece again is a little further along, and what I'm going to do is show you the back side. Now, I don't know if you can see it. You might be able to pick it up. You can see a bit of shininess on the back. What I can see here is I can actually see on the back side of the piece, I can see the lines I've just created here and here. So what I want to do is I want to start working that. And the beauty of the leather is the fact that when it's wet like this, you can actually stretch it out. You can actually move the pieces. You can see how it flexes a little bit. It stretches. You can feel it in your fingers as it stretches. So that's what I want to do. I want to stretch these out. As I'm stretching them out, it'll give this wonderful three-dimensional look to it. And you can, and I look at it on the back side. You can't really see it here because of the angles I've got. All right, you can actually see, you can feel with your fingers the rolls that are there. So I'm going to start working those now, and that's where these come in as well. I want this to have a dome, so I'm eventually going to want to move this around and move it down over the bowl. Now I can do it a couple of different ways. I can do it with this. I can use the smaller ball if I want. All right, and I'll get the shape I want. And now somewhere along this line, I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to work out about where it centers on my piece. I'm going to take one of my awls and I'm going to transfer all these holes onto here. And then I'm going to take this piece downstairs and I'm going to punch all these holes out. Now I can do that with my rotary punch here, my hammer punch, or in my case I'm going to go downstairs and work out on my drill. So that's where we are right now. That's where we're going to continue working with this. I guess we'll be going on to the next segment. Thank you.